All-stars, I should have 3 by my name. They say I cried about not making it. It's free to complain. It's deeper than fame. It's principle. My feelings hurt minimal. Second team additional. 20 M's, boy, it's fixable. Boy, it's fixable. They robbed me though, and it was criminal. But hey, to the game I was chalking it. I'm trying to bring a ship to Portland just like Walter did.
And we're back to another Rip City edition of the Second String Sports Show. I'm your host, Jake.
And Grant.
Or as you probably know us on Twitter, at Mr_Portland.
And at Rip City Diehards.
Gang, gang. Okay.
How'd you get that out real quick?
I had to get the quick...
The Rip City Gang Gang.
Rip City Gang Gang ad-lib. So, it has been quite some time since we have recorded a Rip City podcast. If you've been keeping up, we've been doing pretty much weekly episodes of the Second String Sports Show. NFL, college football, you know.
Yeah, we've tried to touch on it all for sure.
We're touching on it all. Pause. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, we are back. We're hoping to start up the Rip City podcast since you guys seem to like those. We love having you guys ask us questions on Twitter and Instagram before we get into it so we can sort of collaborate and answer what the fans really want to know. So, yeah, we're back.
And who wouldn't want to just talk some Blazers, you know? I mean,
well,
maybe
shit,
this
a
year,
lot of people right now probably don't want to be talking some Blazers. So that's basically going to be the topic. This is going to be a short and sweet podcast. Low key, we're about to go watch The Bachelor.
Yeah, we're trying to finish before 8 so we can watch The Bachelor because that is some good TV.
Some shade thrown. Don't really know why we admitted that right now, but you know, screw it. Go Blazers.
Go Blazers.
Go Blazers.
It's been frustrating for a lot of us fans.
Very frustrating.
With the increased expectations, you know, the big offseason signing in terms of contract-wise with Evan Turner,
False.
Festus Ezeli.
Yep.
You know, it's been kind of a rocky road this season. Not saying we can't turn it around because we have the talent to, but it's got to come together.
All right, so let's get right into it. As we are recording this podcast, we are coming off of, finally, a nice overtime win against the Boston Celtics, which are a very good Eastern Conference team.
Yeah, that was a big win. We needed that one.
But, you know, this win is also coming off of blowout losses to the 76ers. Well, not blowout, but Magic 76ers.
Anytime you lose to the Sixers, it's kind of a blowout.
If you lose by 1 point to the 76ers, it's a goddamn blowout.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a blowout. The Blazers were on a 5-game losing streak. We are now on a 1-game winning streak. By the time you're listening to this podcast, it's going to be put out before the game on Wednesday, which Grant will be at.
Yeah, that should be fun. The spirit of a 77 game. So, you know, the championship team will be in attendance. Looking forward to that. We'll see how that turns out. It should be a fun game.
All right, so what's the first thing we really want to talk about? Basically, this whole podcast is pretty much what is wrong with the Portland Trailblazers, what went wrong with the Portland Trailblazers, what can be improved, what we think is going to happen the rest of the season. Basically, all the unknowns that all of these upset fans are asking. I know, at least on Twitter, from Mr. Portland, my account, it's been the tweets, the responses from the fans. It's frustrating, and what sucks, you know, the players are underperforming, and they're having to see all this negativity. I know it's sort of biting at Dame. I saw him retweet something the other week of a guy just sort of apologizing. The fans are just passionate, but, you know, they're getting a lot of crap. I mean, Damian Lillard is not performing like Damian Lillard at all.
Yeah, I mean, really where it starts, the whole root of all the problem, I think it's a little bit of just lack of overall effort. I mean, you see defensively, that's kind of where our obviously biggest weakness is. You know, we can score and hang with the best of them. It's
not all the time, though.
Little bit of inconsistency is really what it is.
Can we score and hang with the best of them, though?
See, it's tough because you have guys. We have one of the best backcourts in the league offensively. You know, when you have Damian and CJ, if one's off, the other can still be on, and it's tough to hang. You have guys who can come in, and almost everyone in our whole lineup can score the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it all pretty much ties back to the defensive end because there have been games where we've put up, you know, 120 points. 110 plus, and
the win against the Cavaliers, which we haven't talked about on the podcast since it's been quite some time, but we've had those wins this year, and then we've had the complete lack of effort, I don't know if it's something in the locker room. They don't look like they're having fun. They don't look like they're meshing. And at this point, yes or no, do you agree with me that CJ McCollum is the best basketball player on the court for the Portland Trail Blazers?
I probably
Consistency-wise, shooting-wise. I mean, I love Damian to death, but is kind of a... I don't want to pin it all on him, obviously, because our whole team is just performing absolutely at a low, unexpected level, but it's kind of a lack of leadership, honestly. Not what I expected. I mean, I can't speak because I don't know what he's doing in the locker room. It's not up to him to completely, but at the same time, kind of is.
Yeah, well, really, what's kind of interesting to me is, obviously, as great of a player as Dame has been, CJ has been the guy who's come in and, gotten consistently better kind of from both ends of the court each season. I mean, you saw last year, obviously, the most improved. This year, he's kind of even taken that next step forward, and you see new moves in his game, and you see different things he's implemented and more confidence and, higher shot selection. And it's just, I don't feel like I'm seeing the same from Damian.
No.
Now we both love Damian to death.
Favorite player,
it's hard.
Recent.
It's really hard to be
critical, but I mean,
when you see CJ coming in, and I just feel
taking
like
the role
like
away from Damian.
Damian hasn't taken a huge step. He was really good coming into the league, and he hasn't really improved overall at a rate. That
his improvement from last season to the season before was a drastic improvement. Though.
Yeah,
but it's stagnant.
I'm
now.
saying on both ends, though. Yeah, it's
Agreed.
pretty
defensively.
It's pretty
he hasn't improved.
Yeah,
at all. I mean, if not a little bit, but
yeah, offensively he's still kind of a high volume shooter. I think his
risky shots taken sometimes.
Percentages have stayed relatively consistent. His defense is really what everyone has kind of looked for to be improved upon, and that just hasn't happened. And that's kind of the most frustrating part. I know that CJ isn't a great defender, but I don't think he's as bad.
No, he's better than he's not, which is saying a lot because CJ's not a great defender.
Yeah,
I mean, all of this discussion sort of stems into what the fans have been discussing, analysts have been discussing. Does a CJ Damian duo work for the Portland Trailblazers, or at this point, are we going to have to split it up? Is a trade? I mean, trade deadline coming. Olshey, I think I'm 80% sure there's going to be a move made because this is not working. I don't think anything will change without a move. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm definitely leaning towards there being a move made. I'm kind of at that. I think more likely than not, he's got to make a move. Because honestly, if Olshey doesn't make a move, I think he's gone at the end of the year. I mean, you come in and you sign pretty much our entire roster, and we take this big of a step back. If it doesn't improve drastically,
when he predicted nine plus more wins than last season, too.
Yeah, and he's kind of screwed over our future flexibility if he's not trading anyone too, because we're locked into a lot of these contracts.
He did do that is smart, though, was load up on these high-end contracts, which are going to be easily used as trade bait for teams who are trying to unload and take on, to fill up the cap space. But I don't know. Yeah,
it's tough. I think that if I'm Olshey, I'm definitely looking to package a couple guys with some relatively good-sized contracts and try to go get someone. I know that one of the questions we got, I don't know who it was.
I'm gonna read it now. We got an Instagram question that said, if Olshey was to make a trade, what's a likely scenario? Would he move one of our role players or a star? And who are a few players that you guys think can help us this season and in the future? Very good question. I do think he will probably move a star or role player.
Well, here's what I would love to see happen.
All right, I want to know this.
I think, and this kind of ties into another question. What big man could the Blazers get?
From Matt. Sorry, Matt, I don't know how to pronounce your last name.
From Matt on Instagram.
Matt G.
Thanks,
there you
Matt,
go. For the
Thank
question.
you, Matt. Kind of what
he said.
Big.
Yeah, what big could the Blazer potentially get? Which is, kind of a hard question because there's a lot of uncertainty. I mean, there was so. I mean, I think the last Rip City podcast we talked a little bit about DeMarcus Cousins, but since then he has informed the Kings that he intends to sign there long term, so I think that's out of the question. I think he would be amazing for the Blazers. I've always been skeptical of DeMarcus Cousins. I don't particularly like him, but it's something that we would make work and have to make work. And I mean, I think he's probably the best big in the league. But I know you have a personal opinion on an idea.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple names that have been thrown around. This isn't personally what I would like, but there's been Tyson Chandler, which I'm not really into. He
would basically be a defensive big body, but
which is good.
He's a crickety rickety old man. So.
Yeah, he's an old man. I don't think that he really fits into what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
Love the
It's
soundboard.
his bones when he's trying to walk from the locker room to the court.
There's also Nurich from Denver.
Yep.
I think that's how you say his
Who is
name.
currently in the 8th place in the Western Conference, right above the Blazers
And
at 9.
you know, he's lost time because of how well the other bigs in Denver have played.
Denver's been climbing up. They were bottom of the barrel Western Conference, and now they're in the playoffs. So
Do you remember? All right, quick throwback.
we got slaughtered by Denver this year.
There was that, but also, if you guys are a longtime second string listener, I said that Denver would be good in a couple years.
Did you?
I did,
Like
and you
2
guys
years
were
ago
both
or last year?
like 2 years ago.
Oh my God!
Do you remember that?
I remember that show. Yeah.
And Logan was like, no, like they're not gonna be good. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think Denver has a lot of young talent.
I know a lot of people listening are probably new listeners because of the Blazers. You only listen to the Rip City versions of this podcast.
Yes, that probably confused you.
But back when we were a radio show, if you also listened to our analysis of football, general NBA, everything else, which you should, Second String Sports. I mean,
Yeah, quick plug. Why not?
I mean, listen to all our talk because we're low key just like sports god geniuses who just spit knowledge, fire,
pretty much.
absolute fuego, pretty much. Grant did predict the Denver Nuggets to be on the rise, so
Yeah.
and Will Barton is balling, so shout out Trill.
So those are two names that are more realistic, of course. Obviously, I think you got to make a big move at the trade deadline, get a little spark going in the team, because I don't think that little thing is going to, like, a little deal like that is really going to spark much interest.
Yeah.
I think you go after, you package like CJ or Crab and someone else.
So this
and
sort of
some picks.
Yeah.
Go get Whiteside.
Ooh, the trader boy coming back to the light side, Whiteside, huh?
I mean, that is someone who could play well with almost anyone. He's
Young,
an incredibly defender.
talented.
New contract. We'd have him for the long term.
What are the Heat in the East right now? Pretty shitty, right?
I don't know exactly. They're kind of middle of the pack.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're literally second to last in the Eastern Conference.
I thought they were more middle of the pack. I didn't even know that. Wow.
Second to last. So shout out you, Hassan, for making that choice. I hope the money was worth it.
So I think we've kind of proven. Wow, I thought the Heat were better than that. I don't know. Kind of proven that the whole Dame CJ thing is a little bit,
The problem with that is I really want to. I mean, obviously they probably don't want to be split up. They're a dynamic duo. They love each other, but I think deep down it's just not working.
Yeah,
They're two of the same player, and when it comes down to it, yes, this year he's been lacking in leadership and productivity compared to last year, but Damian's the face of the city. He's the face of the franchise. He's the voice of the team. He's the draw for other, free agents, trades. He's the attractiveness of Portland. So
I think that, if one of them's gone,
it's going to be CJ. This also stems into another question we got on social media from Dominic Powell. Thanks for asking, Dominic. He said, would you consider a Crab/Turner contract to be untradeable? Can Plumlee be moved to the 4 so we can get a rim protector? To answer your first question, absolutely not. I do not think they're untradeable. I think Evan Turner is very short-lived with the Portland Trail Blazers based on his performance. And I think Neil Olshey signed Allen Crabbe with the full intention that he would be traded. I love you, Allen. You haven't been amazing this year. Definitely not a 78 million. Was it 80? It was high 70s. If not 80.
It was 70s, but
high 70s. He's not been playing at that caliber. And I don't think Allen Crabbe ever had a future of 4 years down the road with that contract with the Blazers. I think Allen will be used as a piece. I think Evan Turner is gone purely on lack of performance. Plus, I don't really feel like he meshes with the team personality-wise, but I don't know.
I agree. I think the more tradable for sure is Allen Crabbe. I think
more so than Evan Turner?
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone in the
Really?
league was kind of astounded at Evan Turner's contract. And, I mean, you saw teams want...
Who had a bigger contract, Evan or Allen? I think Allen did, but Evans
Allen by
over,
like
so.
$4 million, I think. I mean, and that's the thing. I think Allen Crabbe has that youth and kind of that potential factor a little bit more. I think that Allen is the more tradable piece. As much as Evan Turner hasn't fit in, I think Allen is more tradable.
And sort of going off of his second part of the question, can Plumlee be moved to the 4 so we can get a rim protector? And before we answer this, do you agree with me that consistency-wise, energy-wise, effort-wise, I think Mason Plumlee has been the biggest piece for the Portland Trailblazers this year, consistency-wise, and just effort, flat out.
Yeah, I really liked Mason Plumlee.
I mean, he's damn near gotten he's been close to a triple-double, I think, 3-4 times? I'm off the top of my head, I don't know how many double-doubles he's gotten this year, but it's been quite a few.
Yeah, Mason has played well.
He's just, a little bit
He's
weak.
He's undersized.
He's undersized.
Weak. Yeah,
as undersized as a 7-footer can get for that position, but still.
So yeah, I definitely think that he is more of a 4 than a 5. Definitely.
And I think that was the original plan for him with Festus, but I mean, we may never see Festus on the court in a Blazers jersey.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I mean,
I was pissed off for the first fact that it's sort of the news leaked that there was the potential looming knee surgery that would put him out for the rest of the year, and they said, well, no, we haven't made a decision yet. And now he's not traveling with the team. They haven't made a decision. We're in limbo. Like, is there hope or not? Give him the surgery. Just get it done with. I don't know.
Yeah, the whole situation is really secretive. No one really knows. And it's just 2.0. It's just pretty sad because he would have helped a lot, I think. Kind of a young player who is a good defender, up and coming on a really good team. I was looking
forward to it quite a bit.
I was too. I think that he was, and I mean, you saw the contract over the summer and thought like, wow, that was really good of Neil O'Shea to go get that. But I think that he knew something else
after they saw that physical.
Know. Yeah,
that we lowballed. And so, it wasn't a low ball. It was valued at exactly what it was.
Starting to make a little bit more sense now.
Yep. What else can we talk? Talk a little bit. Myers Leonard performance. What do you think about that? Same old. Couple threes here and there.
It's hard because
he's actually had 2 highlight dunks, which is good for him, but that's not going to
Myers is a very confusing player, and his shooting has gone way down from his, kind of legendary 90, 50, 40 type season. So it's just a lot of players underperforming from what they have in the past, especially last year. And it's not 1 or 2, it's almost across the board. So
exactly.
That's a recipe for taking a big step back, and that's exactly what's happening.
All right. Well, that's pretty much been a breakdown of what we've seen so far. Before we wrap up this podcast, we're going into All-Star break soon, which I think is going to be very good for this team to sort of get that mental regroup. All-Star break is sort of a pause, restart on a season,
Yeah.
It is literally the part 2, do or die. What do we see, finishing out after All-Star break? We're currently in 9th place. Where would you like to see? What do you realistically think we're going to see moving forward?
I think there will be a little bit of improvement if no move is made. Let's just say no move is made.
If no move is made, I say we finish 8th or 9th. I don't see any improvement from what we're doing.
I think we finish
best case
7.
Best case 7 with no move.
And I really, honestly, if we're stuck in 8th place, having to play the Warriors first round, I'd way rather just be in the lottery.
If you didn't know, that's me making an air broom with my mouth. So
good sound effect. That was good.
That was a sweep.
That was good.
I would hate to see us swept, but that'll.
Blazers,
we might Warriors
get
8-1 with this team, how we're performing. But we don't know if a trade's going to be made. So if a move is made, who knows?
we're going to have to come back.
The West is sort of volatile at this point.
I think at this point,
with how bad we've been performing, and we're still 1 game out of the playoffs, anything could happen.
Anything can happen.
Creep up to 6-5. Who knows? Chris Paul is now out like 8 weeks, so
we need a trade to kind of spark that enthusiasm, that energy. I think it's going to get done.
Change the effort. Something. Neil Olshey needs to do something. I hope he does something. So,
with all that said, we're Blazer fans at heart.
Rip
we
City,
believe.
I'll never stop loving the team. Of course, I will still be watching. I'll be a little salty. I've been salty these past few weeks. It's hard when I don't have, some W's to cheer up my monotonous work weeks, but it is what it is. Rip City, yeah.
Go Blazers.
Go Blazers. Thank you to everyone who did ask questions. We are going to hopefully bring back these Rip City podcasts as regularly as possible, just as regular as our regular Second String Sports podcast. So
as long as the snow allows.
Oh,
man.
yeah. That's
Portland, that was tough.
That's a whole separate story. Once again, I'm Jake at Mr._Portland. If you guys follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram.
And I'm Grant at Rip City Diehards on Twitter and Instagram.
All right, so tune into this podcast. Go Blazers. See you guys soon. We're going to go watch The Bachelor.
Thanks for listening. Peace.
Peace.